Welcome to Card Magic 365. Got an absolute classic in Magic for you today using just a regular deck of playing cards. The trick is called the 27 card trick. It's a popular one among magicians and it's been around for over 100 years or more. It's still one of my favourites. Let's go through the trick. You can use one or two people to help you with this, and you say, what I'm going to do is get a lucky number from you and a chosen card from you. So without further ado, shuffle the cards. You give the cards to a spectator. They give them a thorough shuffling. Once they've done that, you then ask them to cut the deck in half, which they do. They then get a free choice of either half that they want to use for the trick. They really can have this one or this one. Whichever one they take, you eliminate the remaining cards. Ask them to shuffle the cards they've chosen. And you say to them, you've got about half the pack there, which is what, about 26, 27 cards. If you had to pick a lucky number, what would it be between 1 and 27? And they would give you a lucky number. Now in this case, let's say their lucky number is 14. You then say, we'll come back to that later on, but let's turn to the other spectator and say, I want you to look at the cards as I deal them across the table like this. And as I'm dealing these, I want you to think of any one of these cards we've got. Now I do want you to keep it to yourself, so don't reveal what the card is, but just look at the cards that we've got here. Okay, what I do is I'll pinch a card from the other packet just to make them even. So we've got an even number of cards here. In fact, we've got 9 cards in each pile. You're now thinking of any one of these cards. Don't tell me the card, just tell me, is it here or here or here? Now they will tell you what it's in, this one here. So you say, look, I tell you what, let's gather the cards up. You're now thinking of one of these cards. I'm going to deal the cards out again. If you'd like to look for your card, but don't point to it or call it out as I'm dealing, but just remember where it is. We're going to locate it. Is it here, here or here? You tell me. Now they will then tell you that it's in this packet here. For the final time, I'm going to deal the cards out. Watch closely as I deal these out. Look for your card and concentrate. Remember, you didn't take the card, you didn't grab the card or touch it in any way. You merely selected it mentally. Out of the 3 packets, is it here, here or here? It's here. Okay, what we're going to do is recap on what's happened here. You mentally selected any one of those 27 cards. It could have been any, only you know what it is. The cards were shuffled at the beginning, they were mixed again as we dealt them out. Your friend gave us a lucky number. What was your lucky number again? 14. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's the 14th card. Here's the rest of the pack. What was your card that you mentally selected? The 4 of diamonds? And there is your chosen card in the 14th position. And that is what you call a classic in magic. Now this card trick is one that I've done for many years, probably almost 40 years, and it's one of those tricks that I always turn to when someone gives me a pack of cards at Christmas and says do a trick. And because I've done it for so many years, I feel very comfortable in how the whole thing works. Why do I say that? And that's because if you're familiar with this trick, it's called the 27 card trick. It's not an original. As I said, it's been around for many years. Now, the instructions and the tutorial for this, which is coming up now, can sometimes seem a little bit daunting to begin with. But don't worry, if you can't follow the video, I've got a link in the description below and you can download this set of instructions, and it has a key legend as to how the trick works. Now it might be worth actually cutting this out and giving yourself a little crib sheet that you can refer to while you're learning this. It doesn't take long. Once you've mastered this, it becomes second nature. But the link is in the description below this video. It's free. Download it, print it, have a read of it. But this is the crib sheet. So first of all, what is the secret behind the trick? Well, in essence, what it is that when you do the dealing of 3 cards, well, let me just go over the basics. When you've got 3 piles of cards like this, with 9 cards in each, when you collect up these cards, you have to stack them in a certain order. If the spectator says their card is in this packet, sometimes this will go on top of the other 2. Sometimes it will go in between them, and sometimes it will be at the bottom. Remember that. Top, middle, bottom. That's all you've got to remember. Now, because you deal these out 3 times, I start with a pack. You can borrow the cards. I always get the spectator to shuffle these. It's more convincing that there's no planned order, which there isn't. They shuffle the cards. Now, because the trick uses 3 piles of 9 cards, that equates to 27 cards. Now, you will know that there's 52 cards in a deck. If we get them to cut roughly half, you're going to have 26 in each, give or take. There might be a little bit more, a little bit less. So that's what I did, is I got them to cut the cards and ask them to choose either half and put the others away. Now, when you deal the cards out in a moment and ask a spectator to think of one of the cards, what you're doing as you're dealing is that you want to make sure you've got 9 cards in each. You might be 1 or 2 off, and I'll explain how I get around that. First of all, you do need to know their lucky number. Now, you can either use 2 spectators, get 1 to choose a number, 1 to choose a card, or just use 1 person to help you. Now, they choose a lucky number. Now, say that you've got half the pack, so give us a lucky number between 1 and 26 or something like that. Now, they can choose any number. However, the way that the key works, let me just show you this. The way the key works is that we know we're going to have 3 dealings. All I've got to know is on each of those deals, do I put their chosen packet in the top, middle or bottom position? Now, if we take a look at what we've got in the first deal, so let's say that they chose a number 17. Now, if they chose number 17, you always have to get the number down to a single digit, because if you look in that first column on your screen, we've got 1 to 9, and beside each of those numbers tells us whether or not we put their packet in the top, middle or bottom. So let's say, for example, they chose their lucky number is 17. Well, because we need to get it down to a single digit, we then add the two single digits together, the 1 and the 7. That gives us an 8. Now, because it's an 8, you can see on the screen that means that the first time we collect the 3 packets up, their packet goes in the middle. Okay. Once you've done that, we then deal them out again. So let me just show you how this works at this point, and I'll stop at each deal. So they've given you the lucky number 17. I start to deal the cards out, and they're going to think of a card. While I'm doing this, I'm making a note of how many cards I'm dealing out. 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, 9. Now I'm 1 short. All I do is say, to make it even, let's grab a card from the other packet that we discarded. Okay. If you have too many, say if you dealt down the cards and you were left with a couple, just say, well, we don't need these, we'll keep it even and get rid of those. You've now got half the deck, 27 cards. Now for this example, let's say that their chosen card was the Queen of Clubs. Now remember, we know that when we gather these up, this packet needs to go in the middle. If we bring up again our instructions, there you can see, because they chose number 17, 1 and 7 is 8, the first deal we collect and put it in the middle. If you look at the second and the third deal, the second deal I will put it on the top of the stack, and the third deal, if you have a look there, because they chose 17 as their lucky number, then we would do the middle. You can see that because 17 falls between 10 and 18. Remember, if this all seems confusing the first time, trust me, do it once or twice, it'll become second nature. And don't forget, you can always download that little table there. So we know we've got to collect their cards up in the middle. So as I gather these, this has got their card, I put that there and that one there. Turn them over. Notice how haphazard they are. I don't like having them all squared up. It's too neat and tidy. If you a little bit slapdash, people think there's no big deal how you collect these up. We then deal a second time, and you can relax now because we know that whichever pile their card is in, it's going to go on top. Now I've just seen their queen, it's over here. So we deal out all the cards, we ask them to tell us which packet it's in. Now say this one. This needs to go on top. Okay, so we collect these up, drop those there and just put those on there on top. Turn the packet over, and the last time we do this, remember, we're going to put it in the middle. So as we deal, the spectator is going to look for their card, and when they see it, which it's over here, they'll say it's here. This has got to go in the middle, and you take that and you put it in the middle. The trick is done. That's it. Our order was middle, top, middle. Let me just show you that on the screen again on there, so you can see, because they chose number 17, we've got to get it to a single digit, so we added the single digits of that 17 together, which gave us an 8. If we look at our table, that tells us we put it in the middle on the first deal. On the second deal, you can see in that column it's the top, so we put it in the top position when we collect the second deal. And in the third deal, out of those top, middle and bottom, we can see, because they chose 17, it's the middle one, so we put it in the middle. That's it. It's a self-worker, because once you've done this, you can relax, When you count 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, the 17th card is their card. It works every time. It's a great trick, great classic, the 27 card trick. Practice and enjoy.